Start your engine!
Entering its 7th season, the Lapped Traffic Podcast has brought you over 300 shows, driver and media interviews, awesome stories and entertainment, and one of the coolest fantasy leagues around. Get ready for another exciting season. Sit back, relax, and try not to get lapped.
Now, here's your host, the Professor, Brendan Cross.
What is up, Lap Traffic Nation? Welcome to episode 306 of the Lap Traffic Podcast. I am your host, the Professor Brandon Crowd. Woo, well, that was a interesting weekend of racing, and interesting in my eyes. That's not necessarily good, not necessarily bad. It could be, but interesting is interesting, and we're going to get into all that here just a bit. Hope you all had a fantastic weekend. Very low-key weekend for us. Did a lot of cooking, as you guys know I like to do. Did a traditional, from-scratch, Midwest-style, homemade fish and chips on Friday, which was awesome. Saturday, took Alden to see the Easter Bunny, which was awesome. Little guy did so good. And Sunday, did some pork chops. I bought a potato ricer. Oh my God, makes the difference for mashed potatoes. So, you know, more pureed style. Absolutely amazing. I am going to give a plug to a non-sponsor. If they ever wanted to become a sponsor, I would be happy to have them. Delisharoo does powdered seasonings, which are amazing, and they have a ranch powdered seasoning that sprinkle that in with some mashed potatoes, sour cream, heavy whipping cream, gobs of butter and salt, and you've got just the best damn mashed potatoes, pureed mashed potatoes in the world. So there's that. This week's going to be busy. Lindsay's birthday is on Thursday. Don't tell anyone, but it's her last birthday in her 30. So, that's hush hush. And yeah, so that's what's going on over here. Last week, didn't do a show. It was nice to take a week off and be a guest on another show, blowing the doors off with Sherwin and Brett. Had a lot of fun doing that, and did Twitter Spaces Friday night with Brian Newdorf. I'll be honest, it was a good time, had fun. For whatever reason, I was only able to share mic access to Brian. Last 2 weeks, no issues, was able to give mic access to everybody else and get comments and feedback, and hopefully we'll be able to do that this week with Aaron. So be on the lookout later in the week to catch that and come hang out with us for a little bit. And the week before, had a great time with Dan Wetzel, Mark McMillian. Had a blast doing a show that was, football and NASCAR related. But hey, that's okay, because I love that. I know most of you guys do too. Hope you enjoyed that one. Tonight, though, what's coming up? Well, how about our truck winner from Atlanta? Christian Eckes is going to be on here in just a minute. We've got just a lot to dive into from Atlanta. Got your feedback from Atlanta as well. Social media shout outs. We've got catching up with Lap Traffic Part 4 from Race 5. Yes, I knew that wouldn't, be able to hold through number for number there, but when you take a week off, that'll happen. So, and then of course, Lap Traffic Fantasy to close things out. So that's what we got lined up for you guys tonight. Sit back, relax, and here's Christian Eckes. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, joining me on the line, making his third appearance on the show. He is currently first in points and picked up the win this past weekend at the FR8 208 in Atlanta. He's the driver of the number 19 Napa Auto Care Chevy. Welcome back, Christian Eckes. What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good, man. Thanks for coming on. So your last time on the show was episode 217. Tonight is 306. It's been a minute. Some things have changed over the years, eh?
Yeah, that's to say the least. It's been kind of a whirlwind couple years, but I'm really happy to have landed here with McIntyre Hilgeman Racing, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to what the future has to hold.
Absolutely. Well, man, let's dive right into it. A huge win. Congrats on the win. Walk us through the wild overtime restart. You started fourth in the race, ran up front all day, but take us through your vantage point of this past weekend at Atlanta.
Yeah, to be honest, it was not a great race at times. Obviously we started off really well, winning stage one, and doing everything we needed to do. But we just lost track position, and it was impossible to get back through the field, it felt like. So, just got in position there at the end. I sped on pit road, tried to throw more track position away, and really just got lucky, to say the least. But yeah, no, super happy to get a win. The first of the year, first of the entire program for Mackinac Hillgren Racing. So it's great to see, and yeah, just looking forward to the rest of the year, like I said.
So talk about that, because obviously from the owner's perspective, they've got to be ecstatic, thrilled, and you as the driver to be the one to be able to say, hey, I got that first win for you guys. Can talk a little bit about that partnership and how you landed in the 19.
Yeah, so I wasn't really sure what was going to go down with whatever you want to call it, ThorSport. I knew some changes were possibly going to happen. Really wasn't sure what those changes were yet, but kind of didn't get an answer, heard some rumors, heard some more rumors, and then eventually got to the point where I went up there and tried to figure it out and got an answer. And luckily, Bill McAnally actually texted me. I guess it would have been, when would it have been? Last week of November. Okay. And I was going to ThorSport the next week to try to get an answer, and I got the answer I really wasn't looking for. So sure. I texted Bill back and got a plan together, and here we are today. But it all came together within a couple of days, and the timing was super fortunate, to say the least.
That's awesome, man. Well, hey, glad things worked out the way they were supposed to, for sure. I want to touch back on Atlanta. A lot of debate right now, especially on social media, about Atlanta, the track, the reconfiguration, all of that. We saw 11 cautions for 58 laps in the truck race. You've raced the old and now the new Atlanta. What were your thoughts in terms of the racing itself for you?
Well, I felt like the racing was pretty awful until about, honestly, 20 to go. Every time I tried to make passes, that's why I said track position was so key.
Sure.
Nobody could go with me, and the racing, it was treacherous. I mean, it was a risk every time you went to the bottom because you just lose positioning. So yeah, I mean, it definitely wasn't great, but at the end I felt like it was okay. Like you could do things. But yeah, I mean, it's a glorified speedway, and it's definitely pretty tough to be able to do anything.
Is there something you think they could do, whether in terms of to the truck, is there anything that they could do to help make the racing a little bit better, for the truck series at Atlanta?
I don't know. I mean, obviously the restrictor plate racing there is an interesting concept.
Sure.
I'd like to see what it's like without the plates on them, just to see if there's any difference. But I think it'd just be a faster version of it. So, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to get a real read on it. Yeah, that's about it.
You got a trophy. That's the important piece.
Yeah. No, I mean, if we're being honest, the race was pretty miserable for most of it, but we got a trophy at the end, and that's the biggest thing.
I love it. COTA this weekend. First trip out there. You had some issues with the truck, but last year, 6th place finish. Are you excited to get back there with the new team? Are you excited for some of the road course races in the Truck Series this season?
Yeah, I've actually grown pretty fond of road course racing and feel like I've gotten way better at it. I'm still not where I need to be, in my opinion, but I've definitely improved at it and made some strides towards getting better. So yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is, as long as I can keep improving and have a good run this weekend, that's going to be crucial for us with leading the points, trying to go after the regular season championship. That's something we need to do. So we'll see what happens, but overall, just really excited to get back to the racetrack.
Sure. No, absolutely. And then in a couple weeks, we're going dirt racing. And that's another one of those tracks where, kind of like Atlanta, people either love or hate the racing. There's not much in between there. I feel like last year the racing across all three series was a little bit better because we didn't have torrential downpour for, I think, 5 days leading up into it and that weekend. Are you looking forward to going back dirt racing at Bristol?
Yeah, I mean, I finished fifth there last year, but we probably shouldn't have ran there. So I don't know. I mean, we always had really fast trucks when I was with ThorSport on dirt, and I'm sure it'll translate to GMS or GMS McAnally Alliance as well. So I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
That's pretty much all I got to say for that. I think the road course stuff I've maybe gotten a little bit better than dirt racing for sure, but
sure.
We'll see.
You've got a very cool sponsor in Napa. Their name, their logo, very recognizable within the sport and the fan base. It's a product that the fans can actually go and purchase something directly from them. What's it been like working with them? Have you gotten to do any cool things with a sponsor like Napa?
It's been a blast so far for sure. It's really cool to be able to, meet new people every week and meet employees, meet associates. And everybody coming out to the racetrack is super excited to see it. So it's been a lot of fun for sure. Obviously it's a really cool sponsor to have. So very fortunate.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. It's really cool that they were able to move over into the truck series and with you, which is sweet. Christian, tell everybody where they can follow you at on social media.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, Twitter, I think Facebook. I don't know. It's just my Instagram that translates to Facebook. It's just my name, Christian Eckes, and that's about it, man.
Awesome, man. Well, listen, thank you so much for coming back on the show. Hopefully it's not another 100 episodes or so before you're back on. Maybe we'll talk after another win this year, which I'm sure will happen. Congrats again, and best of luck this weekend at COTA.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Thanks,
Appreciate
man.
it.
Take care. We'll see ya. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, Christian Eckes there. Great to have him back on the show and talking about celebrating a victory. I just love when that works out that way. Sometimes it's planned where, I reach out to the winner after race weekend and I'm able to line things up. But this one was scheduled last week, so that's pretty cool. So I must be some good luck for Christian Eckes. And, if he gets on a dry spout, he might just have to come back on or have him scheduled to come back on so that he goes out and wins the next weekend. So there's that. I have to go back and touch upon the number of cautions and the caution laps at the truck race Saturday afternoon. I've gone on these rants before, so I'd be remiss if I didn't do it again because I think it's important because of the fact it's just too damn many. 58 laps, 42% of the race run under yellow. You back out the 10 laps for the stage breaks. Okay, that drops us to 48, takes us to 35%. What's the sweet spot, right? Because, obviously, it's an inevitability. We're going to have some yellows. I mean, the last time a race ran caution-free, granted, if we didn't have the stage cautions, it would, we'd be able to have a different stat in terms of the last time a race ran caution-free. But I think that we have to separate the stage breaks. It's just they're there, they happen. When I look at the Xfinity race here, right? Okay, the Xfinity race had 12 cautions for 68 laps. Okay, however, they ran 163 laps versus the truck series that ran, let's see here, doing this as I'm talking, truck series ran 137 laps, 210 miles versus the Xfinity race, which was 251. I mean, there's just there is a gap there. And even 12 cautions for 68 laps in the Xfinity race, that's too many as well. That's too big of a percentage. So do we tie that back to Kyle Busch's statement stating that no one's got respect for each other out there on the track anymore. I mean, I saw a lot of shade thrown at Kyle, like, oh, he's one to talk kind of thing. But I think Kyle took care of things and does take care of things. There may be a single car incident. He may bump someone out of the way, but I mean, look at what happened in the Cup race, Ross Chastain, Kevin Harvick. Granted, he really didn't get to him, but he definitely was pushing, took that air out. I mean, that's speedway racing though, right? If that's at, Kansas, that's probably not going to happen. Two, they're not going to be racing like that at that point in time in the track or in the race. And it's just a different ball game. So you have to just, throw caution to the wind as I'm talking about cautions here. And I don't know what the solution is. I mean, you had a truck race go 2 hours, 17 minutes. My solution is not advantageous from a TV time perspective, but I think it in the perfect world is the way to go about it. And there's the lesser of two evils. In Brandon's lap traffic perfect world, we're not counting caution laps towards the race total of laps. I mean, I think that's what a lot of people would prefer, but that 2 hour, 17 minute truck race, now we're getting 3 hours on a truck race, which, that's unrealistic. Now, break that down. What are some options around that? Well, maybe we just don't count the caution laps at the stage breaks. To me, that makes the most sense. Okay, fine. We've always counted caution laps during any caution in NASCAR. Fine. Okay, I can accept that. I can get behind that. However, we have manufactured cautions now and are creating breaks, which I can get behind that concept as well. But maybe if we stopped counting those, we're not going to go from a 2 hour and 17 minute race to a 3 hour race. If we don't count all of them, let's just not count the ones that we're creating ourselves. Is that the lesser of two evils there? I think that's realistic. That wouldn't have added too much. Actually, it wouldn't have added any TV time. It actually would have cut back TV time, I think, a little bit there. But yeah, I know I've asked you guys that before. It just kills me to see that, and it's mind-boggling to me, and where's the root of the problem? Is it what Kyle Busch said? Is it just a product of today's racing? Is it a product of younger drivers out there? But man, it was crazy out there all weekend. All right. The rant over, over to the Xfinity race where Austin Hill, is getting dangerous out there, guys, picking up his third win out of 5 races of the season. But the talk of the town is Josh Williams with the
Hold my beer
moment of the 2023 NASCAR season. Yes, I had to create some kind of drop because it's that worthy of a drop. I mean, to get parked by NASCAR and just to literally park it at the start-finish line, I love everything about it because I think I mean, we all have our opinions on the caution clock thing and all of that. And, we'll see what the penalty is for this. I love that Denny Hamlin during the race was like, I'm paying it. What I love about this is whether it's good or bad, this is somebody that's now being talked about in the headlines of NASCAR that wouldn't be. Who knows? This may throw some sponsor dollars his way. It could be a huge defining moment in his career. One way or another, we're all going to look back and go, hey, I mean, there's some key moments that we talk about, right? Like when the guy stole the pace car during pre-race ceremonies at Talladega, right? That's something, we're never going to forget about that. It's brought up, in clips during rain delays, things, all that kind of stuff. This is going to be one of those moments that we're not going to forget, which is awesome. And like I said, it could be something that turns into a positive for him. Some sponsor may see that, may love that edgy attitude and the character about that, and it could be amazing for him. Or he may never race again. Who knows? But you know, you want to talk about ending time to a race and extending cautions. Well, if I just didn't, you know, give the most hypocritical comment based on the rant I just went on for the truck race. But I tell you, I thought that was incredible. And again, good, bad, or indifferent. It's bringing attention to the sport and, you know, in a humorous way, in my opinion. Nobody got hurt, and he just parked the car and, you know, walked across the infield. I mean, that's just, again, it was legendary. There's no doubt about that. Okay, over to the Cup Series. Joey Logano picked up the win. You know, I know there were a lot of people rooting for Keselowski to go get that first win in the 6 and for RFK, as well as Corey LaJoie. And that would have really made things interesting come the playoffs. And yes, I'm talking playoffs 5 races in because we're just all, you know, looking to see, you know, can we keep that parity up that we had last year, which was awesome. Everybody got a little piece of the pie. Everybody had some fun. And, you know, I think it's a different season. And I say that because that's kind of what sparked my question, my tweet to you guys after the race, you know, whether you wanted to comment on the Atlanta track itself, or where are you at 5 races into the NASCAR season? And let's hear what some of you guys had to say. Eric at T Super Speedway might be in the minority, but I think this is possibly my favorite track in NASCAR right now. I don't want to see them do this to another track like Texas, but I like it for Atlanta. Beeren Speedway. It's definitely in my top 5. It's kind of like the Bristol of super speedways. The laps happen so quickly, there's not as much time to develop a move. Jason at JA Stone 29. Yes, we know Ross didn't touch Kevin. A quote comes to mind from Kevin 2018. I think an inexperienced driver in a fast car. Another one comes to mind from the beginning of the year. Not an exact quote, but something like any old or new grudges better get handled early. Colin at Colin _with_cars. Xfinity and trucks were a bleep show. Josh Williams made for some great TV. Still not a fan at New Atlanta. I say give them their normal intermediate packages and see how they run instead of doing this 550 crap. Finally, pitting in turn 3 is dumb, ran over. I didn't even touch upon that. I thought that was absolutely obnoxious. I think that added to the lack of the race, if you will. The mere fact that you were basically going 2 laps down to pit under green, you know, you want to create that even playing field to a degree, in my opinion, of, you know, allowing teams to cycle through a green flag pit stop. I know caution will happen, you know, but if that didn't happen, you know, your day's over 2 laps down potentially. If you pit under green, yellow comes out before the field cycles through there. And it just seemed very, very unnecessary there. My second rant of the day, 23 minutes into the show, is over. EJ at the real EG Gold. Didn't catch the Xfinity race, but trucks and Cup delivered in the end. I'm a serial napper, so I'm pretty cool with a dull second stage. I love that. Man, what I wouldn't give to just take a snooze on the couch with the race, fade in, fade out a little bit. Absolutely. Scott at 1985 Wagner. Doesn't seem like much changed other than how the track is banked. Only interesting thing was watching the pylon during the green flag pit stops. They should start timing them in turn 4 like it was originally, but make them be on the apron to enter the pits in turn 3. Let's see. My takeaway, 5 races into the season, it's different than last year with the same car. And I think it's going to continue to feel different all the way through April. We just don't have some repeat tracks, repeat style of tracks, you know. We had it Daytona, obviously, to kick things off. Then it was out west with 3 very different tracks. Come back to Atlanta, you know, it's super speedway, but not. Now we're going to our first road course of the weekend. Then it's Richmond, which people have been complaining about Richmond for a while. I think Richmond's going to run very much kind of like we saw at Phoenix. Then it's to Bristol Dirt, which is another oddballer, which you're either going to love or you're going to hate. Then we get to Martinsville, which that's going to be our first true test at the short track. Then it's back to Super Speedway Talladega. Then it's April 30th. We're at the Monster Mile on concrete. Not until May 7th that we're back at a 1.5 miles at Kansas. And then it's Darlington, so which is weird because last year's schedule was the same way. I think because of the new car, I think the parity, it's just a very different feeling for me this year. And I think it's going to be a while before we're all settled in. And it's the same car racing on the track, but I don't know. It just feels a little different to me. By all standards, the couple changes they make should be making things better. And I don't see us there yet. So, if you're listening, you're the type that's going to be tuning in just like I am. And we'll just have to wait and see, as they say, which I hate using cliches like that, but it is what it is, which is another cliche that I hate using. Okay. How about a little Lap Traffic social media? Make sure you check out the website, thelaptrafficpodcast.com, Facebook, The Lap Traffic Podcast, TikTok, Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, all at Lap Traffic PC. If you've made it this far into the show, leave a review, tell your friends, all that good stuff. You can listen to the show on iTunes, Podbean, or your favorite hosting site. Don't forget about the giveaway, finally eclipsed. We finally passed 7,000 followers on Twitter. I think we've got about 95 or so to go, and I've got a Lap Traffic NBC prize pack to give away. Thank you for all of the retweets and all of that good stuff. Make sure you're following at Atlanta Racing and at the Throwback Brand. We do a bunch of joint giveaways throughout the season, so make sure you're checking them out as well. We do have some new followers. Joshua the Prophet at Mitzi Joshua, big NASCAR fan, was at Atlanta this weekend. Saw a great video with him and Chris Rice, which was awesome. Harmon Schmitz at Harmon_6_fan, guessing a Keselowski fan and also an NFL fan. Chris H at Haggy Baby 14, a USMC vet. Thank you for your service, sir, and a NASCAR fan. Shane at Big Daddy Shane 46, a Ford Racing fan, and Philip Sapuro Jr. at Philip 012561, NASCAR Boyer fan and a Navy vet. Thank you for your service as well. Don't forget about the store on the website, thelaptrafficpodcast.com. I've got free stickers and koozies. All you have to do is either DM me, fill out the contact page, what have you, and I will send those out to you for free. All right. As I mentioned, this is normally when the old weather segment would be firing up, but you can catch Aaron Studwell this week with me on Twitter Spaces. Probably Thursday or Friday. Be on the lookout for some info on social media, Twitter, and all that good stuff for dates and times. But right now, it is time for catching up with Lap Traffic. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, joining me on the line. It's been a minute since he's been on, but he's back, and we're going to catch up with him and hear all about his 7-hour venture to and from Atlanta. You can follow him on Twitter at StormanB81. Welcome back, Brian. What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Hanging in there and excited to get to chat with you because I think it's been a minute. I know you were on for the countdown to episode 300, but glad to have you back.
Oh, yeah. Glad to be back.
Absolutely. All right. So let's start. Where does Brian call home?
Rockledge, Florida.
There we
just
go.
South, for your listeners who don't know, just south of Cocoa Beach area.
Okay, cool. And I mean, 7 hours, that's the drive. Where'd you stay?
So we left here at 8 a.m. Saturday morning. We were staying at the Holiday Inn and Express in Griffin.
Okay.
Literally like just under 9 miles to the track on whatever that main strip is.
Okay.
Before you turn into Terra Place, which is the track.
Yeah.
So which was good because leaving it was just take a right, drive a few miles down the road, and
you're good to
at
go.
the hotel to sleep some, and then jumped in the car, about 6 a.m. this morning, which, hold on, about 5:45, because I was like, I want to leave by 6. Listen to this. So it was 23 degrees this morning in Griffin, Georgia, Hampton, Georgia, that area right there. The hotel had the sprinklers on. My car was iced. Now, of course, I live in Florida. I don't have a scraper. So I just had to turn on the heat and be like, all right, come on into thaw, let's go. And I'm like, who has the water sprinklers on when it's 23 degrees out? Come on.
I'm
now.
surprised there was water even to flow through the pipes, man. That's,
Well, it was like in the 60s, 70s last week.
Oh, fair enough. Okay. I'm like, we got to get our sprinkler system blown out, each year because of that nonsense. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm vaguely familiar with the area. I went to Atlanta a couple years ago with Sherwin and had a great grand old time there. And I would say that, yeah, it's a pretty cool area. It's some country-ish, but there's some stuff to do in and around the track, which is pretty cool.
Oh yeah. So this time was just in and out, in the day before. Well, we did go to the Xfinity race, or if you want to call it a race, on Saturday. And actually, when we got in, I got the tickets. We went in. We sat down just to see the overtime finish of the truck race. So we got to see 2 laps of the truck race. Okay. and then we watched the Xfinity race.
That's cool.
But last time, when we went in July, which, both extremes, sweltering to freezing.
Yeah.
We did the whole thing, went up to Dawsonville, went to the pool room, all that, because everyone who follows me knows I'm a big Chase Elliott fan. So I did all that.
Yeah. Very cool. All right. So you stayed close. Did you find any cool spots to eat, or did you, as simple as possible since it was a quick trip?
As simple as possible. Like, breakfast at the hotel.
Yep.
Ate at the track.
Yep.
Got Hardee's because I can't tell you when's the last time I went to Hardee's. I know it's been Hardee's, Carl's Jr., wherever you live in the United States and whatever you call it, right? That's the two, yeah.
So yeah,
it's like rallies and checkers and all that.
Yeah, no, it's crazy where like you take for granted your fast food and some places like that, depending on what part of the country you're in. That's for sure. So
and after I got the food, I saw Del Taco, and I'm like, man, I haven't been there. Last time I was there was when I was in California, like 20 years ago.
Okay, see, we got Chick-fil-A is still new for me. Like the fact they opened one up 6 miles from the house is, I go there way too much just because it's still a new fad, and I think it's absolutely amazing.
Oh, and I don't know if you saw my tweet this morning. Stopped at Buc-ee's. The first time I ever stopped at a Buc-ee's, but
yes.
Saw it pulled off, and I walked in and I was like, "Holy crap! It's like the Target of convenience stores, gas stations, whatever you want to call it."
Right. So I've not been to one of those, but when I went to Richmond, I did go to my first. Was it Wawa? Is that what they call
Wawa?
it? Yes, that was.
You have a sub?
Yeah, I did have a sub. Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yep. And I also made a point to go on my way back from the track on Saturday night just to experience the night crowd at Wawa. I've been told that, that's an experiment or an experience in and of itself. So, I made sure to do that.
Yeah, the Wawa here I don't go to at nighttime.
Fair enough.
It's in one of those neighborhoods. Hey.
Yep.
They've had stabbings there and stuff. So you know what?
Yep.
Don't go there after dark. Nope.
Good times. So what'd you think of the actual, and we'll get to the racing, but what did you, I know you went in July, but what did you think of what's your take on the track itself, facilities? Cause you've been all over the place. So
yes.
What you think?
So I love this. Yeah, I love this track. Actually, my wife, I think, likes this better than Daytona. And for those who've been to Daytona, no, now it's not like the stadium seats and everything else. Still got the old school for those fans who've been around a while. I got the old school, bleacher still. Now, what my wife loved in July, what she did during the cautions, is they had the cool room. So they had the room with AC and everything. I never seen that, so she hit that up during the caution.
Okay, yeah, for sure. You needed the heat room this weekend.
Yeah. Although I will say it was 45. Now I got that Florida blood. I get cold easily.
Sure.
I took my sweatshirt off during the race. It was 45. Now Here's what was the funny thing. Now I don't know, maybe the medal thing, sun coming up, maybe felt a little bit warmer, but as soon as you like got out of the stands, like to go get something to eat or whatever, use the facilities, you felt it. It was like, oh, I should have put my sweatshirt on before I came back here. But sitting in the stands, it felt like it was like 65 degrees out. I'm like, I can feel the chill, but it's not like cold.
I hear you. I hear that. Where'd you guys sit?
We were in section 138, which if you haven't been, it is where the tri-oval goes like straight to the best, coming to the start finish line is the best way to describe it.
Okay. All right.
So now, see, I won these tickets when, and I'm going to give him a shout out here. And I know a lot of people follow him, but when NASCAR Sammy did his giveaways around Christmas time, I won the one. These are the tickets that I won.
Awesome.
Great seats.
Very cool.
So,
NASCAR Sammy, he's doing good work out there.
He is, for all the stuff he does with those autism awareness and everything else. Great kid.
Well,
I know he's not like a kid. He's 18, but to me, he's a kid.
I hear you. Well, and speaking of doing good work, you've been doing some work too. You were out at Capitol Hill, for MS. I tried to let you talk about that on Friday on Twitter Spaces, but just wasn't working. So
I tried. So really quick.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people follow me. They see my pictures and everything, but went to Capitol Hill, talked to Marco Rubio's. Now they weren't there. They all were busy on Capitol Hill. If you've seen what they're doing, but that's a different thing. But talk to the aides of Marco Rubio, Rick Scott, my representative, Bill Posey, all that stuff. And then we were with someone else, so we talked to their thing. But it was good, talk to people, talk to them about, MS and, about their research and, the fund, because, we asked for $2 million more dollars. Well, this year, as we did last year, plus the airlines. Now, I know I tweeted out about this, and I know I'm going to be long a little bit, but the airlines and how they deal with people with disabilities, the stats is just jaw-dropping of how many people are injured, how many, wheelchairs and everything else are broken. And, some of these people need they get like 10, 20, $30,000. The guy that I was with had his insurance actually paid for, he was lucky, $30,000 wheelchair for him. They broke it. They were like, sorry, that's something you just don't order, click on Amazon, get it, 2 days later.
Yeah.
Him, he goes, it's at least if my thing gets damaged and they got to replace it, he told me 6 weeks to get it fixed.
Wow. And they can't do anything at that point, they're stuck.
It's like taking someone's legs, picture going somewhere and you don't have your legs, that's their legs, basically.
Yes. Did you hit your 10,000 goal?
So I did.
Awesome.
So I had one guy. Now, I did I do all the crazy things while I'm fundraising. So I raffled off my hair color.
Yes.
So then one guy was like, shave your head. And I'm like, no. So to be funny, I was like, $1,000 donation. I will shave my head. The guy donated $1,000.
That's amazing.
So then he came back and said, hey, I'll match whatever. So I got like $300 of donations. Well, I hit $9,000, and then he donated another $1,000 for me to hit my goal of 10,000.
That's incredible.
So awesome guy there. But yeah, raised 10,000. I think I'm at $125, which is about 3,000 more than my highest ever. So
very cool.
I do have the greatest followers on Twitter. I will argue anybody that.
Well, I'm not going to argue that, but I'll just thank your followers because of you, I know you've gotten me a lot of followers. So I appreciate that very much. So when's the head shaving coming?
So of course it's orange this month.
Yes.
April it'll go blue, which is funny because the person picked blue, which I'm going to try to do because now blue, speaking of NASCAR Sammy, April is Autism Awareness Month. Blue is the color. So it's kind of a cool thing that the person picked blue. So I'm trying to do the shade of the autism awareness. Why not?
Very cool. Very cool.
And then May will be the head shaving.
All right.
Which my wife is ecstatic because her birthday's in June. So my natural hair color will be back for her birthday. I am trying to get it dyed for near my birthday in August. However, for those of you married, you know how that's going right now.
Oh, very cool, man. Well, that's awesome. I love that. It's a great story. And I saw you got the orange cane now. Maybe the orange cone. The account's been retired. Maybe you need to do the orange cane account.
Maybe. you know what I'm trying to do? If I go, hopefully I get to go to Washington again next year.
Yeah.
With the society and everything. Maybe I'll have the orange hair, orange cane, orange shoe. Let's do it.
I love it.
I will stand out like I did this year.
Right. What's the next race you're going to?
So, as of now, I think the only race we may go to is Daytona in August. If I can get the tickets on VetTix, which is another great organization, by the way.
Yes.
But if I do get them there, that'll be the next race. If not, next year, it won't be till next year. So, but we're trying to decide. Like, we've done Daytona a lot.
Sure.
You
want to get out there.
Now we did Atlanta last year, and I won the tickets. Love that one. Kansas is a great track. Probably go out there again.
Okay.
But we're trying to do,
hit Darlington, man.
Darlington's the one I want to go to. Dover's another one.
Yeah.
I had tickets to Pocono a few years ago, but that got canceled because of reasons, as we all know, when everything was turned upside down.
I was supposed to go that year too for the double.
Yeah. I was so mad because I had tickets to that. Like, we had a whole road trip planned out. We were going there. I've never been to Yankee Stadium. I had tickets to go to Yankee Stadium.
Oh,
and
man.
Then, I'm like, of course. So one time I got this, and especially go to Yankee Stadium.
Right.
And,
right. Oh,
so,
man, that's crazy.
It's what it is.
That's crazy. All right. Well, listen, man, thanks for coming on and sharing the race experience. How we do? How you doing in Lap Traffic Fantasy? Should I pull it up and look or no?
Let's see. Well, no. Well, hold on. Who did I had Austin Dillon. I don't think he did that bad.
No,
I tried to do the Joey Logano, which I had him a couple weeks and forgot about that. That would have been good. But I picked him when he won a couple weeks ago. So, I think I did. Or he finished in the top 3.
Well, you had Dillon got you 17. You had Allgaier got you 8. And Zane Smith 31. So you had my opening weekend basically for Daytona because yeah. All right. Yeah. That
Justin Allgaier hurt me. I will say one thing. And sorry, I've been long.
Good.
But, I've been to umpteen races, especially, since 2014. I can tell, especially multiple races a year. I can't tell you when. Actually, I probably can tell you. It's probably, Daytona 2014 when Judy won. But besides that, I can't tell you when. For the last 50 laps of the Cup race this weekend, nobody was sitting. Like,
that's a good thing.
But the racing was good. Besides the Larson,
we haven't even talked about the racing. So, all right, let's get into that real quick. So,
I know, yeah.
What'd you think of Josh Williams? What'd you think of all that?
So, now I have like headphones, like almost like the sound canceling headphones, Bluetooth for my phone.
Yeah.
So I was able to listen to the thing. Now Saturday, I was going back between the PRN broadcast.
Yep.
Right, it's PRN, I believe, this week. Yeah, PRN this week. And Justin Haley's radio, because it's so, if you listen to any of the NCAR radios, listening to Chris Rice is hilarious. Whatever driver, when Chris Rice gets on the radio, laugh. But all of a sudden, I'm like, there's a car at the start finish. What did I miss?
What's going on?
Yeah, because it's under caution.
Right.
And it became a longer caution. Because then all of a sudden, you just see him walking out. I'm like,
right.
Did the car die? But he's right there at the start finish line. Why didn't he go down pit road?
There's no safety crews coming. That's what threw me for a loop. And I'm like, wait, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah. And then you hear over the loudspeakers, that they parked him and he just said,
"Yep."
He ran out of F's to give, and
yes.
and everyone's and at this point, now I don't know how well you saw it on TV, but the crowd went wild.
Oh yeah, no, you could tell. Crowd was into it. Yes. Yes. Yeah. No, the crowd definitely got into it. There's no doubt about that.
So, but I mean, it was good, and then it was just like, and I think I was a little bit. I wasn't irritated, and I wasn't rushing the race, but I'm like, all right, I've been up since early this morning. I drove all the way here. Like,
right, yeah.
it was at a whim. Hey, let's go to the race. But I knew we were in trouble when it was a 7 p.m., an hour and a half into the race, and we've only done 70 laps. Well, before that, when we were on lap 23, and we only did 6 laps of green, and I'm like, this is going to be one of those races.
Well, I'll share a quick story with you because I had one of those experiences myself, not at a NASCAR race, but at a baseball game. My wife and I and 2 other couples, we went to Seattle for a Tigers-Mariners series. And this is the day that Delta had like a system-wide outage to where like 70% of their flights got canceled or whatever. So we were supposed to have a direct flight from Detroit to Seattle. That flight got canceled. So they got us on a flight that was Detroit to Las Vegas, 2-hour layover, Las Vegas to Seattle. All right, we're still going to get there same day, no problem. Well, we're on the layover in Las Vegas, and then that flight got canceled. So they put us on the 8 a.m. Las Vegas flight out to Seattle. Fine, but we've been up since like 8 a.m. Eastern time, on my asses in Las Vegas. I'm sure as hell sitting at a blackjack at a 3-card table. And so, I mean, we're talking like 3-4 hours of sleep if we're lucky, to then go to the game that went 16 innings. I threw the towel in at the 15th inning. Is like, I'm out of here. Like the ball field is spinning. That's how tired I am.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just, and of course it was well, some people may not have been cold, but I got that Florida blood now. I'm originally from Connecticut, but that blood has long thinned out, and I'm like, it's cold. We can't even get a lap in. Like, I'm cursing the drivers out.
Right.
I'm like,
come
y'all
on,
suck.
boys.
I'm like, y'all suck. Come on. And I mean, I'm not meaning that any personal, but I'm like, can we get a lap in, boys? Come on. It's, like I said, when I looked at lap 23 and only 6 laps of green, I'm like, can we get a green flag and maybe 2? Come on.
Right. Yep. Well, I went on a long rant about that earlier in the show about the number of caution laps, and it's like, come on, guys, let's get it together here.
And Bob Parker said the same thing. We did tweet up. If we didn't have all those cautions and that thing was happening with the bear bond with Josh Williams, they probably don't park them.
I agree.
But they were probably frustrated too. Like, can we get a lap of green here?
Yep. No doubt about it.
Like I said, I was listening to Justin Haley's radio, and Spotter Frankie was like, he goes, I just want to let you guys know that we've been racing over an hour and a half, 7 o'clock. Oh, we still got 93 laps to go, people. Like, even he was over it. He was like, my hand warmer stopped working. I got the extra coat on. He's like, I'm done. Let's go.
Oh, that's great. I love it. All right, man. Well, listen, thank you so much for coming on and sharing the story again. And, we'll be in touch soon, I'm sure.
All right. Well, thank you for having me.
Thanks, brother. We'll catch you later. Everyone go follow Brian at StormanB81. We'll catch you later.
Catch you later.
See ya. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, let's close this thing out with some Lap Traffic Fantasy. Just a reminder, get your picks in by 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Thursday. Check the website if you need to see who you still have available. Right now, joining me on the line, he's no stranger to call it in because he definitely gets week high a couple times a season. Welcome back to the Lap Traffic Podcast, Mr. Robert Riggs. What's up, brother? How are you?
Oh, man, doing good. Always glad to be back on a podcast. You're doing something right if you end up hearing a weekly call.
That's right, man. I say at least a couple times a year, if not more than that. You end up knowing what to pick, so that's awesome. Let's see. You had Hamlin, Hill, and Eckes for 143 points. So you picked up 3 bonus points this weekend. And I had Cindric, Hill, and Smith for 129. I was going to go with Larson, as I mentioned on the Blow in the Doors podcast off, but I want to save him for the Bristol Dirt Race. So I made the switch there for Cindric instead of Larson. So there you have it. What'd you think of the racing this weekend, man?
I watched the Cup race. So as we've seen the first 2 stages, we were running like a low wear track, and they were all in single file running. And then we get to stage 3, and they decided they wanted to go drafting, and that's when it started getting nasty. But the race wasn't too bad overall.
Yeah, definitely. definitely a lull in stages 1 and 2, and yeah, they turned it up a notch there in stage 3.
Yeah, they started racing like the old truck drivers in Xfinity. I guess they got a little antsy on trying to get to the front a little too fast. But was about 60, 70 laps to go is when they started bunching up and when the issues started occurring.
I think they realized, like, all right, the lanes ain't moving like they normally do at Daytona or Talladega, so we're not going to be able to pick up that ground in 5 laps. We better go do it and start doing it now.
I agree, yeah. They weren't waiting until the last few laps because they were trying to do that during the stages, and they were just staying put and realized that they weren't passing. So, yeah, I think they got a little aggressive a little bit too early, but I guess if you want to make your way to the front and get that clean air,
that's what you got to do.
That's the name of the game.
Yes, sir. All right, let's hit the top 10 here in standings. Currently in first place with 501 points is Benton Wilson. In second with 497 is Eric McCollum. In third with 492, Matt Dombrowski. In fourth with 461, John Etwinsel, all the way in Australia. In fifth with 455 is Joe Hewson. In sixth with 454, Chad Harrington. Seventh with 452 is Jeff Clark. In eighth with 451 is Eldon. In ninth with 446, Jason Dickus. Wrapping out the top 10 with 444, Kristen Hagelin. Rob, man, you're in 15th with 429, so you're not too far out of that top 10.
Yes, sir. I made a big jump this week. Happy to see that. I've been floating around that 30 to 50s all year. So
I'm with you there, man. 10th to 30th, only separated by 40 points. It's still anybody's ball game out there, so keep those picks coming in on Thursday nights. Bonus points. Rob, though, you are in first, though. You've got 4 there. Andrew Yu, Benton Wilson, Brad Carnes, Joe Hewson, Colby McClam, Matt Dombrowski all have 3. What do you say, sir? You want to do some picks?
Yes, sir. Let's get it.
All right. We are headed to our first road course of the year and our third trip out Dakota. Chevy, and most notably HMS, have won both races in the Cup Series. Toyota and Chevy have split in Xfinity, and Ford has both won in the Truck Series, if that helps you in choosing your drivers for this week. With our current road course winner, ringer Chase Elliott, out, that might open the door for someone to take advantage this weekend. Who can pick up some momentum? Who takes home the checkers? We'll find out this weekend. But first, it's time for our picks. All right, Rob, who you going with in the Truck Series?
Truck Series, I'm going to go with Hocevar.
Hocevar, I like that. I'm going to go with the 99 of Ben Rhodes this weekend. All right, over to the Xfinity Series, sir. Who you rolling with?
Sam Mayer.
Sam, oh, I like that pick. I am penciling in John Hunter Nemechek this week for the Truck Series. Or, I'm sorry, for the Cup Xfinity. Man, I can talk. All right, the Cup Series. Big dance Sunday at Coda. Who are you going with?
Going with old Ringer Dinger, A.J. Allmendinger.
Yes, sir. I love that. I'm torn between him and Alex Bowman, but I put Alex Bowman down. So we'll see if HMS can make it 3 in a row like they started off the season. So that was my logic there. So that's where we're going. All right, man. Well, listen, thanks for calling in. Best of luck to you, and we'll catch you soon.
You too. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, man. We'll see ya. All right, Lap Traffic Nation. A little short show tonight, but that's all right. That's going to do it for episode 306 of the Lap Traffic Podcast. Make sure you check out the website, thelaptrafficpodcast.com, Facebook Lap Traffic Podcast, TikTok, Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, all at Lap Traffic PC. Huge thanks to Christian Eckes, Brian LaFell, Robert Riggs for calling into the show tonight. Don't forget about the giveaway, and we'll see what we can get rolling for next week. Don't get caught chasing the lucky dog. Tune in each and every week to the Lap Traffic Podcast. See ya.